Welcome back to Genre. I'm your host, Katie,
I'm Elise.
and today we're going to be talking about How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates by Shailee Thompson. But first, we have some things to say.
May I go first?
Yes, you may.
I've got some Dungeon Crawler Carl news. So I believe I've told you,
Yes, tell me.
Seth MacFarlane got the rights to Dungeon Crawler Carl to make a TV show.
Yeah.
And it's going to be live action, all that jazz. We've known this for a
Okay.
little bit. But it was announced this week that Peacock is going to be the one who streams it. So that's the studio it ended up at, which I think
Oh.
is honestly pretty good.
Ooh, okay.
It's just going to be, if it's live action, it's going to be expensive as hell because there's going to be a lot of CGI and things like that. There's, aliens and things happening. They're in
Yeah.
a, a VR video game world. So it's interesting to see. But
Do we think this is actually going to make it?
like in like past season one, or do you think it's going to make it to air?
Do you think it's going to make it to air?
I think it's going to make it to air.
Okay.
Yes, I do. And then one other thing related to it that I also learned about Matt Dinniman, the author, is I always wondered because Dungeon Crawler Carl is on Kindle Unlimited, and
Oh, yeah.
it also has much different covers on Kindle Unlimited than like the published
Yeah.
covers. And I always thought that was maybe just a fun thing because Lit RPG has like a very particular aesthetic to their covers. So
Yeah.
I thought it was just a nod to that. But it turns out for the Dungeon Crawler Carl series,
Yeah.
he retained all digital rights. He self publishes all of the Dungeon Crawler Carl books.
Oh.
He maintained all of those rights. That's why the covers are different because they're like in that Lit RPG style. He just sold the physical book
Yeah.
rights and the audiobook rights to Penguin Random House. It's in a
Oh.
imprint. And I was like, what a fascinating hybrid model.
Who is this Matt Dinniman?
I don't know. I don't know too much about him,
How
but
old is he? Feels like he's like a young guy.
he's not, you know what? I'd have to look it up. I would say he's honestly my age if I had to guess. Let's see. Matt?
Like, he feels really business savvy in the literary world.
Oh my God, it's not even, his age is not on Wikipedia, so I can't even tell you.
Oh, he's a little bit secretive.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like there's been a lot of authors we've been reading that I can't find any information about them. I don't
Yeah.
know much about them.
I don't know the timeline of when he actually got picked up traditionally,
Yeah.
but I do think he was publishing a few of the Dungeon Crawler Carls himself, and then he got picked up.
The books that you have up there, are they traditionally published? Or
Yeah,
because I'm like, those are, like, nice
they're
books.
nice books, and they're door stoppers. These are
Yeah.
like big books. These are
Yeah.
like expensive
They look
to yeah,
expensive.
and they're expensive to publish, I'm sure.
Okay.
I thought that was so interesting.
That's very interesting. I'm glad that people in the literary world are taking a note from the music world.
And trying to keep some of their rights. If you think about the romance world too, Lucy Score,
Yeah.
Megan Quinn, all of these really big, like currently like doing really big things, traditionally published as
Yeah.
well. They're usually on Bloom Books, which is another imprint of Source Books, which is a larger
Yeah.
publishing house, and that does mostly romance. But they were all self-published before Bloom Books picked them up. So you could buy physical copies, but they were, through Amazon, basically
Yeah.
order to print. I was reading about it because after I read about this about Dinniman, I read about it a little bit more. They are also maintaining some level of rights. It's in return for them doing a lot of the marketing
Oh,
for their books. And
yeah.
since they're used to doing it because they were
They were doing
self-published authors, they were
yeah.
doing it anyway, and they were successful in that field. They're
Interesting.
basically using publishers as distributors and not much more.
Okay.
So there is apparently just a different type of deal that's happening, which I think is so interesting. I feel
I
like we
like
should
that.
learn more.
I know. I like that for them. Okay. I love that.
What about you?
Um, well, I have really taken a turn into the affiliate marketing world.
It was only a matter of time, really.
Until I learned about the platform ShopMy, where, one of my favorite hobbies is building lists.
You do love a list.
Like gift lists at stores. Like, sometimes I just go and I make fake lists. I'll be like, "Okay, what if this scenario happened? I'm going to a summer wedding in Rome. What are all the things that I would wanna pack?" And I'll go to various websites and, like, put lists together of things. I don't have a summer wedding in Rome.
And it should be clear that this list this hobby of list making that you
Yeah.
have does not cross over to, like, a daily to-do list that you don't
No.
like.
I think we've already discussed that. I don't need to be reminded of the things that I need to do. That's not what I want. I want to daydream about purchases I wanna make, trips I wanna go on, anything besides what I actually have to do. And so I now have created an account for Genred. Please support us if you will. Of all of my favorite things, Elise's favorite things, I wanna continue making little collections.
Maybe Lola's favorite things?
Lola's favorite things. Honestly, because I have some recommendations. I have recommendations on skincare that people ask me about all the time, certainly cat recommendations. So some of the tools and toys and automatic things that I have for Lola, I have recommended to a number of people after trying out tons of different options. So I've got recommendations, and if you're interested in that, you can support us on ShopMine. I'll put the link in the show notes. Thank you.
Just support Katie's hobby of making lists,
I
please.
love to make lists. I actually cannot wait for Christmas, and Hanukkah. I cannot wait to make gift giving lists.
Just festive holiday season gifts.
Yep, gifts under 10, gifts under 20.
I have a place to put them, and then maybe someone will see them.
Maybe someone will see them. It looks like maybe somebody's already seen them already,
It's
so
because of your perfectly curated collections,
I
Katie.
know. I have a great reading essentials collection with a lot of our favorite
Yes,
things.
you asked for my input on that one.
Yep, so if you wanna check that out, it's really fun. There's some cute stuff in there. And that's it, that's all.
Everybody, just support Katie's hobbies of making
Yeah.
lists. Also, while you're at it, go to the genre website because Katie spends a lot of time on that website, and it's honestly gorgeous.
Mhm.
I believe you've connected the shop mine to the website as
I have
well.
connected the ShopMine to the website, so it's genrepodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to shop that way, it's shopmy/genred. Um, I don't have a lot of hobbies, um, and these are my hobbies, so I love them very
And
much.
shopping.
Lists and shopping.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's it. Thank you so much.
You. All right, let's get into the book.
All right, I'm gonna give you a short synopsis since this is my pick this
Yeah.
week.
And just a reminder, first 20 minutes, spoiler free.
Yep,
We'll let you know when the spoilers hit.
and here we go. A film obsessed grad student attends a speed dating event that turns into a literal slasher scenario when a killer traps everyone inside. Forced to survive using her knowledge of horror and rom com rules, she realizes the killer may be playing a twisted love story with her at the center. Bum,
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 bum, bum.
bum.
There's never been a more bum, bum, bum book we've read.
I know. I was actually going to say, I know the spoiler free section is important, but it might be short because this is a mystery.
Yeah, we can't really give too much away.
Yeah. Yep. And just talking again about authors, so this is Shailee Thompson's debut novel.
I saw that.
She is an Australian writer,
Oh,
and that's it.
that's all we know?
That's all I know. I was really trying to look her up, and I couldn't get a lot of info because I was like, this is such a funny genre or two two worlds kind of colliding, and I was like, this whoever is writing this must have some sort of background in either one of these things or maybe a serious love of it, and I was not really able to find
Huh.
much.
Maybe it's a pen name, like just a normal person pen name. Maybe she's like our main character, Jamie, a grad student, film studies or something like
I
that.
mean, there were
And so,
pictures of her.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
wasn't
true.
like a Danny Francis.
No, that's true. The
But I did I'm chuffed.
I'm I'm chuffed. Well, and then to the genre, this is a horror rom com, which I mean, I've personally never read before because you usually can't get me close to horror with a 10-foot pole. But this really was all three of those things. It was a horror, and I would even call it, sure, it was a thriller, it was a thrill, but it was
Yeah.
horror. It was like a slasher, romantic comedy. So it was a romance, a comedy, and a slasher.
Let me ask you a question, and I think I might know the answer. I don't know, actually. So, horror and mystery thriller, like, what is the difference? Is it just that we're talking about gore? Or I mean, I get it when I'm watching shows. I know the horror movies and I stay strictly away from them, but I love thriller mystery movies and gore doesn't bother me. But why is that different than, like, Scream? Or I know what you did last summer.
That's a good question, and I actually don't know if I know the answer. I do think it's the setup in
Maybe,
the
yeah.
way that, like, a horror
You're being
you're
hunted.
being hunted. I also think horror movies happen in a day, right? Like, a slasher is just, like, it's a day, a couple of days. But,
Huh.
like, if you think about any of, like, the classic horror movies of our youth that we were forced to watch because peer pressure said we had to so we could be cool, like, Scream was a day. I Know What You Did Last Summer, sure, they did something last
Scream, I guess,
summer,
is like a couple days.
but
I
it
mean,
doesn't matter. But no one sleeps. How about that? No one's going to sleep in a horror movie.
yeah, no one's really going to sleep, I guess.
So, like, I Know What You Did Last Summer started last summer, but the hunting all happened in,
This
I don't
yeah.
know, a
The time
24 to 48-hour period.
yeah, I guess it's in a particular time period,
And a
maybe?
thriller can be you could follow a thriller for years, for weeks,
That's true.
for whatever, you know?
Could be a cold case, could be you're solving that cold case. Okay, okay.
We'd have to ask somebody who's a little bit more deep in the horror genre because of the way that I love romance. People love
Horror?
horror, like horror movies, like, that is a huge thing. I
And
actually went to grad school with somebody,
really?
Kurt Braddock. He
Oh.
actually has a horror podcast. He asked me to come on, and he's, like, working through it, like, he loves horror movies. He would know.
Well, we should ask him.
He'd be able to
Kurt,
give us more of
Kurt,
a
we've got questions for you.
yeah, he'd be able to give us more of a like, what's the difference between, like, a thriller and horror?
And let it be known, me and Elise both do not like horror.
Yeah.
We are not interested in it. It was a little funny reading this book, having to think back on the maybe 2 full horror movies I've ever watched. One being Scream,
Yep.
which was an absolutely traumatizing event for
Experience.
me,
Yep.
extremely traumatizing. I had to sleep in my mom's bed for, like, a week, and I was at least, like, 13. It was terrible. I still remember the day because I watched it by myself, it's a whole other thing. I actually watched it in your room.
Why?
I don't know, you weren't there. I don't know I don't know where our parents were. Daddy was not home. He was, like, traveling that week, which made everything worse. Amanda obviously was a small child. I don't know why. I think, someone rented it from Blockbuster.
I mean, it wasn't gonna be me. You had to have rented it for yourself.
Maybe you had the room with the VCR? I remember watching it in your
Yeah.
room.
The one movie that I watched that I had to sleep with mommy also, and
Yeah.
I was driving, so I was definitely at least 17 because I was driving by
Ah.
myself, was The Ring.
And I keep saying that's not a horror movie.
It's absolutely a horror movie. It's a seminal horror movie. It's not a slasher,
Yes,
which
and
is a type of horror movie, but it's
okay.
a seminal horror movie.
Alright, so slashers is what I don't like. The Ring didn't bother me.
The Ring, you were just like, "Look at this
I was
crazy
like,
girl jumping out of the TV."
"Coming out of the TV, get outta here." I thought that was silly.
No.
Okay. Yep.
No.
Okie dokie.
The fact that, again, this is a genre mashup.
Yeah.
The only way you're gonna get me to watch/read any sort of slasher is to also make it a rom-com.
I thought reading this, I was like, "Ugh, horror." I don't think I understood much what that meant, and then as I read it, I was like, "Oh, this is a horror. I see why it's a horror." Ooh, it was
It
spooky.
was spooky. It was spooky.
It was spooky but funny and romantic at times.
I know. It did it all, and I thought it did it all pretty well.
I know.
I think tropes-wise, because like, it didn't rely too much on tropes because it was really relying on the
The
genre,
Yeah,
but the big trope was final girl, the one or the leading lady. So final girl,
yeah.
which has always fascinated me as somebody who doesn't like horror, I do love the concept of the final girl, which is always the ordinary girl. It's not the bombshell in the
Nope,
horror movie.
it's never the
It's
bombshell.
always the girl next door who starts being so innocent and then is the only one who survives at the end.
Yeah,
She's the final girl.
yeah,
She ends
she
up
figures it out.
she figures it out, she kills the slasher, and lives to see another day
Yeah.
until the sequel. And I always thought it was such an interesting trope, and then, of course, the one in romance novels is the we call it an FMC now, is
Yeah,
the main female character, and she's the leading lady. She's a little zany, a little
yeah.
this. She has all of those. I think in, like, a very extreme version of it, like, in the early 2000s, we would call it, like, the manic pixie dream girl, the
Mm,
Zooey Deschanel's.
Oh,
of the world and, like,
yeah.
those type of, like, indie rom-coms, like, I think that took it to an extreme. You don't really see her much many anymore, that
Yeah.
particular version.
I mean, I don't like either of these genres. I don't like horror. I don't like romance. I don't like rom-coms. Like, I don't like these movies. I don't like these books. And so it was a very interesting mashup for me because there were some things that we'll get into it. I didn't sometimes I didn't get the reference because I was like, "Oh, I have no idea." Like, I don't know what the beats are for this particular type of genre because I truly don't know.
So, did you get maybe this is jumping a little bit ahead to sort of like the some of the writing, like the writing aspects of it. So, obviously, this was a first person POV. We
Yeah,
had the Jamie, our main character, that was what we were looking at the entire
yeah,
time. But in the beginning of every chapter had a quote from a famous rom-com,
yes,
and they changed the wordings a
yeah,
little bit, and then it was like, not Harry meets Sally,
yeah.
not You've Got Mail, and some of them I was actually surprised that I didn't know the reference to, like, I couldn't figure out the movie from the quote, and I'm sure for
I
most of
didn't
them
know
I knew.
any of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of them. I did know that that's what they were doing, but I did not know any of them.
Well, this is actually one I didn't know, so this is good because I just
Yeah,
wasn't familiar with it. It says, "You kill thousands of people and none of them really touch you, and then you murder one person and your life is changed forever." And it's from Not Love and Other Drugs. And of course, it should be you love 1,000
yeah,
people. And let me see if I can find a more obvious one. Hold on. I have on
y
Notting Hill. So this is not
okay.
Notting Hill. So I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him not to murder her.
Yes, yes, yes.
It should be I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her. I'm just like, and I was like, that is also such a fun way
I know.
to match them up. But again, sometimes I didn't know.
Alright, let's set the scene
Okay.
a little bit here, just so that we can kind of give the lay of the land. So, Lori and Jamie are best friends. We'll get
Yep.
into kind of who they are as characters in a minute. So, Lori drags Jamie to a speed dating event. This is in New York City. And they're pulling up, they get out of the Uber, and they're walking into a club, and they were both kind of like, "Hey, feels like we've been here before." And they kind of joke about it as they walk in saying, "Yeah, this used to be a club that we went to in the past. It's been closed. We haven't been there in years. We were always drunk when we were there." And quickly kind of move past it. They get inside, they have to give all of their phones, art watches,
Mhm.
anything that they have that would allow them to contact the outside, and so that they could be present in
Yeah.
this speed dating event. There are 10 guys and 10 girls, plus the hosts, maybe there's, like, a couple of them that are putting on this event. They start the speed dating event, and they probably go through 5 or 6 people or so before the lights go out.
Black.
The lights go out black, and the lights come back up, and Jamie, our main character, the guy that she was talking to, dead.
Dead.
Dead right in front of her. Throat has been slit, and that is where we begin.
That's where we begin. And that's like chapter 3.5.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
if that.
It's a quick start.
Okay, Elise, I want to before we get into the characters, I wanna ask you something. Did you recognize this?
Okay.
Again, I have probably seen the only horror movie that I ever think about is Scream
Okay.
because it was so traumatizing to me.
Mhm.
Did you realize that all of the names of the characters are, like, famous slasher actors, characters, directors?
Oh. Oh, wait. Give me some examples.
Okay. So Jamie is our
Like Jamie Lee Curtis, is that who it's after? Because
no.
obviously Halloween? No.
I I don't think so. My thought is that it is and I had to put his name in here. So in Scream, there is a guy, Randy Meeks,
Okay.
if you remember him. He was played by Jamie Kennedy, and
Oh.
he was a film student, I believe. I don't was he in high I think he was in high school, but he was like a film student or a film buff. He's the one that goes through the rules. That it's like,
Oh. Okay, no.
never say, "I'll be back," or never say
That's a great reference that I absolutely missed.
And so it wasn't him in Scream, it was, like, the actor that played him.
Yeah.
Um, Wes Craven.
Oh, yep, okay.
There's Campbell, Nev Campbell.
Who's Lori then?
So Laurie, I looked this up because I was like, who is Laurie?" And I don't know if this again, I don't know. This is what I'm just putting together. So Laurie is in Scream 2, the killer in Scream 2
Okay,
is, like, Billy's mom. So
okay,
the killer in the first Scream, his mom,
okay,
and the woman that plays the actor that plays that killer, her name is Laurie. I think, Laurie Metcalf.
okay. I mean, maybe. That's now that I'm just thinking about it, because Jamie,
Yep.
like I said, it could be Jamie Lee Curtis. She brings her up a bunch of
Could
times, right?
and
Because
yep, so it could be, but then when I was looking at the characters of Scream and I saw that that one character was the one that talks about the rules, like, I remember him at that stupid party that they're at when, like, everybody dies. He's the one being like, "Never say,
yeah,
I'll be right back."
don't split up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like and that was him.
yeah, and
Yeah,
that's, I mean, the first page of this book after the
yeah,
dedication, which is also a stellar dedication.
yep,
Is is the 10 rules to surviving a slasher,
yeah,
just 1 through 10, and we find out that Jamie actually hangs it up in her and Laurie's bathroom just so they can see it all the time, just so they can be prepared.
yep, I love it. They're roommates and oh, I love them. I love them as best friends. So Jamie is our main character. She is getting her doctorate in film studies, and she is writing her thesis on horror and rom-com and how they're essentially the same.
Yeah, how they're just 2 sides of the same coin.
Yep.
They're hitting the same parts of our brain, just dopamine receptors, serotonin, just a
Yep.
fight or flight, basically,
Yep.
and everybody is sort of like, "You gotta pick one," and she's like, "No, I will not." And I love any grad school representation in books. It makes me feel seen, and this is a good one.
Yeah, this was fun.
I can, really identify with someone who wants to do a thesis and everybody's telling them, "No, pick
Yep.
another thesis." So, I really identified with that first chapter too, which is just an excerpt
I know.
from the thesis. So good.
So Lori is our best friend.
She's like the
What was
pol
she studying?
so document also film
Yeah.
studies, but she's into documentaries. So
Yes. Yeah.
while Jamie is very like fantastical, like big campy sort of movies, Jamie is like, "All I wanna do is go deep into a Venezuelan bee farm
Yeah.
and follow a bee farmer for 12 years to see how his life goes." And
Yeah.
so that's what she wants to do.
Yep. Yep. So there are a lot of characters because there's obviously ten women, 10 guys, and we know various things about them. But I think we can say safely, without giving any spoilers away, that one of the people that stands out is Wes. He is one of the guys right before the lights go out
Mhm.
that Jamie had talked to. And there was, like, 2 or 3 people that Jamie had talked to that she was kind of like, "Oh, okay, I'm interested in talking to them after this thing is over with," when, they all get drinks or whatever. And his name is Wes.
And they, like, really vibe in their little conversation.
Yeah. But then things
She
got
Things
awkward.
got awkward because
Yeah.
she mentions honestly, as I think any girl who lives in New York City does, he says
Yes.
something like, "Oh, well, why don't you do this, that, or the other thing?" She's like, "Oh, well, I mean, unfortunately, too big of a risk of murder."
Yeah.
And he, like, shuts down from that, like, well, it was
Yeah.
supposed to be just sort of a funny joke. And she's like, wonder what that's all about." And so that was sort of the before the lights go out, that's all we really know about Wes. Really
Yep.
vibed until he got weird when somebody said something about murder.
Yep. And then, of course, we have, the killer, and they oh,
Hard Eyes is what they call him, and it's the killer who we don't see probably until halfway through the book. Like, lots of people die before we get, like, a description, before
yeah.
Jamie sees
Yeah.
who's killing everybody, and it's a person in a, like, pink ski mask is how I visualized it, at
Yeah.
least, with heart eye cutouts, so the eyes of the ski mask are hearts on both eyes,
Yeah.
and then the mouth is sewn shut, so I sort of pictured it as like a ski mask, what do we call it? Like a baklava or something?
No,
Baklava's a tasty treat. That's not balaclava?
balaclava. A balaclava.
Bak
He's a baklava. He's got a little baklava.
He's just wearing a baklava, just he's giving it out as he's murdering.
So do you know what I thought? I thought of, like, a leather.
Oh, that makes it creepier.
Yeah,
But it
that's
was
why
pink, though.
I know, a pink leather, like, thing that you put on your head with, like, cutout eyes that maybe were, like, studded
Oh,
a little bit.
I definitely pictured a balaclava with sort of cut out like, somebody took the eyes and cut them out, like, in a ragged heart shape and
Oh.
then sewed the mouth shut. That's what I pictured.
I think I'm almost thinking of, like, like, in, like, dominatrix dungeons, kind
Like
of like
that
a
type of, like,
sex
s like a
mask.
s okay, I can see that, like a stitched up together
Yeah.
okay, okay,
I actually have, like
shiny.
a yeah, I have, like, a really good visual on what I think it is
Yeah,
anyway. Anyway,
and
okay.
I would also just like to note, Hard Eyes seemingly has an unending amount of weapons. Just like there's no end to the amount of weapons this man has. How did he get it?
There's no guns here, which is nice. There's no gun.
Which is nice. It's a lot of stabby stab.
A lot of stabby instruments, and they're they never run out, and I don't know.
They're of various sorts. I mean, we're saying stabby, but like, blade devices, blades,
Yeah, but
various
oh, no,
blades.
there was a hatchet
I
at
was
one
gonna
point,
say, like, there
yeah.
was definitely like like it's
Yep,
sharp metal edged things.
yeah,
You know what? That's a really good point too. I didn't really think about it.
yeah,
There were no guns. So nice.
yeah, well, that that was actually a question that I had. I was like, "Is it not a slasher or horror if it's guns?"
We'd have to talk to somebody
I
closer to
don't
the
yeah,
genre
I
for
don't know.
sure, but I've now that I mean, was there guns in Scream? I don't think so.
No, there wasn't. For me, it was giving Scream. It's what I was constantly referencing. I never was referencing, like, rom-coms during this 'cause I didn't even know where to start, but I was just always thinking about Scream because it's one of the only ones that I've seen, but the rules, they, like, go through the rules in that movie, and I've always remembered that.
I think the I I honestly think to Jamie's thesis point, the beats of a horror movie are actually very similar to the beats of a rom-com.
Yeah.
So, I did catch that as we were going through. Like, the
Yep.
3rd act breakup
Yep.
is the same as, like, the 3rd act betrayal in a horror movie.
Yep.
The grand gesture in the rom-com is sort of the same as, like, The Last Stand. All of those, like, those were similar, so that I sort of caught back and forth, but it wasn't like it was a particular rom-com that necessarily stood out as a reference.
Yeah.
I will say I was thinking about Scream 2.
Yeah.
I think that is supposed to be the main reference,
Yeah.
but I also sort of a little bit thought about Scary Movie, which was remember the parody? Uh,
I think I was forced to go to see that in the movie theaters, and I was like, "This is the stupidest
and
thing
it
I've
was the
ever seen."
stupidest thing too, but the reason why I sort of thought about it was that, again, it was the mashup of, like, 2 genres, like horror and comedy, and some of the rom-com-y, like, the comedy
Yeah.
parts of this were played up for effect, and
Yeah.
so that it gave me a little bit too, but just for the genre mashup,
Okay. Would our mother read this book?
no,
No.
no, too scary.
No. I was asking Elise when I was reading it, I don't think you had started it yet. I said that I had to stop reading it at one point at night because I was like, "Oh, I'm actually a little too scared."
And I thought I was being strong, I was like,
Such
being
a
such
baby.
maybe I do like horror, and then I realized I do not. I just didn't get to, like, the scary part yet. Like, sure, maybe I got to some of the murder, but I didn't get to the slasher stalking part.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta put this down. I gotta read some sort of fluffy book before I go to bed." And you know I love to read before I go to bed, and I was, like, not able to do it. Um, alright, you wanna hit us with your one-line plot?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. A horror-obsessed, rom-com-loving NYC grad student realizes her chaotic dating life is starting to follow slasher rules and has to figure out if she's the final girl or the one getting written out.
Ooh. Alright, here's mine.
Okay.
As if dating in New York wasn't scary enough, a speed dating event turns into a full blown horror movie where only one final girl can make it out alive, and somehow it still feels like a solid filtering method for suitable men.
Yeah, no, that's not wrong, right?
Mhm.
High level, did we like this book?
High level, did we like this book?
It's a yes for me.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I love this
yeah.
book.
It was, like I said, different, sort of like slump busting. It's the only way I'm gonna touch a horror book with a
Oh,
10. Oh, for sure.
100%. It made me rethink so many things. I absolutely loved reading it.
Yeah,
It was I went through it so fast.
yeah.
I
And
went through it so
the
fast.
audiobook is really good too. It sort of it has like some like fun effects to it. My one thing about the audiobook I will say,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
is it the male narrator?
Yeah, I couldn't understand what he was saying.
So I don't listen to books as fast as you listen to books. Like I'm usually at like a 1.35 and you're like what?
Like 1.7.
Even at a 1.35, it was very hard to understand him.
Same.
And
Everyone in that book that had a male dialogue was like this grumbly kind of like, and I'm like, I can't understand anything.
Wes was
Yeah.
in particular very low, very gravelly,
Yeah.
and he was hard to understand. And so that would be my only note. But I
On the
did like,
audiobook, yeah.
yeah, on the audiobook, I did like that there was like sound effects
Yeah,
in the
I thought it was
audiobook
fun.
though, which was great. Like
Yep.
when something murdery happened, it had like an axe sound
Yeah.
or something, which is
Squish, squeech.
which added to the atmosphere.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Let's get into the spoilers. Wee 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 wee.
Spoiler alarm.
Spoiler alarm. Alright, Elise, when did you decide if you did or didn't like this book?
I think honestly, first chapter, because as I said earlier, the first chapter is an excerpt from her dissertation, and it was unbelievable. I highlighted right away. She talks about Maslow's hierarchy of need, and
Mhm.
as a communications grad student myself, that is I've taught that to endless amounts of 101 students. It's a very basic communications concept,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, love it. I love this. I love her thesis. I think it's unbelievable. I wish it was real. I would read it.
I 100% agree. I I loved it from the beginning, and one thing that I will mention that I don't feel like you really know too much about, but anybody that's a club kid that has been to clubs in New York City know that they are some of the biggest and most confusing layouts you can possibly imagine. And the reason why I said that up in the top about the fact that Jamie and Laurie had been there before is because they literally became who everyone depended on because they were the only ones that understood the layout of this very confusing club. And from my friends, from the early 2000s, if you remember Club Exit, also now known as Terminal 5, that is what I kept thinking of
Interesting.
when I was reading this because in all good clubs, there's always, like, the bottom floor there's always a mezzanine that overlooks the floor, and that became very important within this book. There's always usually a roof, and then there's these little pockets of rooms, which could have been, like, different dance music, like, was going on in some of these, like, offshoots or whatever, VIP rooms, whatever. The bathrooms the bathrooms are always a place.
I also want to, I'm going to try and show it on
Yeah.
my iPad. It has this map of the club. First of all, I love a map in any book. And then we find out that it's Jamie and Laurie who draw this map because they're the only ones who have been there before. And when they're trying to survive, somebody's like, can you draw a map? And this is their map. And
Yep.
I think it was so cool. It was like, and again, right in the front of the book.
Everyone knows going to clubs, you're half drunk, like, there's 1,000 people in these clubs, like, you're losing people all the time. There's places you probably haven't even been, didn't even know that were there, and so everyone was relying on them, and I like, that's so real. That is 100% something that happens. I think nowadays is a little different because we don't I don't know. In New York City, I feel like we don't really have those huge clubs anymore, but it was something I remember.
Yeah. I said the first chapter, but the map got me.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is going to be fun. Then right after the map, the dedication is for the leading ladies and the final girls. Have you met? I think you'd be the best of friends. An absolutely outstanding dedication. And then the next page, how to survive a slasher. And I think it's worth to read 1 through 10 really quick.
Read the top level.
Number 1, don't have sex.
Yep. We all know that. Nev
Number 2,
Campbell.
always hide for longer than you think you should. Number 3, find a weapon.
Yep.
Number 4, turn on the light. Number 5, don't split up.
Yep.
Number 6, watch your back. Number 7, don't run up the stairs. Number 8, don't say I'll be back. Number 9, sobriety equals survival.
Mhm.
And number 10, down doesn't mean dead. Double tap.
Yep.
I was like, that's so good.
It's so good, but I mean, we all know I mean,
I mean, I don't know.
did you know these rules going into it?
No.
Oh,
Are these
these are the rules I'm talking about that
is this what was given in Scream?
Scream. I don't mm, I mean, I almost wanna say yes, like, do I remember exactly what he said? No, but it was the,
Like, if we
"Don't say
Googled
I'll be
how to say
back." Yes, like,
okay.
these are very well known. Certainly don't have sex
Yes, I
because
knew that.
that is always
Because the final girl would never. And then and then it's the first chapter, which is that's the first
yeah,
rom-com quote that was turned into a horror quote, and then that's the thesis, which is the title, All is Fair in Love and Gore.
yeah,
The intersection of romantic comedies and slasher films in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. As somebody who went to grad school, you always want your title to be so fun, and your thesis advisor never wants it to be fun.
no.
And so that's why you put the subtitle. But yeah, loved it
Um,
right away. We were on the same page there.
yep. Alright, I think we gotta hit the plot twist right now, so we can continue going into some of our favorite parts. The entire time, it was a lot of, like, "Is it this person? Is it that person?" And do you know what I always thought?
But
In Scream, there were 2 killers, and so I knew there had to be 2.
there was two
Yeah,
things that I like made a highlight and a note really early.
yep,
One was there's a lot of weapons, question mark. Are there two killers? Question mark. Like
yeah.
that was something that
There's,
I
like, a
said.
lot happening.
Yeah, because I was like, how are there people like there's just too many.
Bodies are dropping.
Yeah, there's and because bodies dropped fast and
Yeah,
furious. Fast and furious. And then the second one was really early. I said, I think Wes is a cop. That note was really early on.
oh, I didn't. Honestly, I did not clock that. I was really going back and forth between Wes and another character.
Because Wes really took a leadership role
Yeah,
early on,
yeah.
and everything he was doing just really
Scream cop to
screamed
you.
cop to me, screamed cop to me. And
That's good.
yeah, so those were the two ones, but the twist was two killers
Yeah,
and Wes was a cop. And for a second there, we thought maybe Wes could be the killer,
yeah,
but I felt the cop was the twist because I felt so deep in my heart that he was a cop and that was going to be the twist for him. I didn't necessarily suspect him. It could have been a double cross. But did you think Wes was the killer?
there was a period of time where I was like, I love Wes, and then I was like, do I love him too much? Like, he's gotta be the killer? So, yeah, I was conflicted. I was going back and forth.
But the two killers were
Yeah,
interesting. So it was a girl and a guy, and it was
yeah,
also sort of a rom-com twist, if you
yep,
will, a romance twist. One, the main killer who ends up being a serial killer, because as they go into this date, they do just briefly mention that there's like a possible serial
yep,
killer on the loose, maybe connected murders that have been happening, like women found dead
in the city.
in the city. We don't get too much
It's
detail when they go
it's
in.
really they breeze past
They
it.
breeze past it, but it turns out that these women have been actually found outside of dating events in New York City, and we
Yeah,
learn that later on
yeah,
after the murdering is happening. And then everybody's like, it's obviously one of the guys
yeah,
because because also the boys are being murdered as well, so it has to be a
yeah,
bigger guy. And it turns out when we finally find out that the male killer is John, who is the other person that Jamie vibed with
yeah,
in the dating. And he was really particularly vibed with her in her love for rom-coms, slasher movies, and Taylor Swift. He
yep.
was like very into all of those things. And he was very like boy next door. Wes was very like grumpy,
Grumbly,
yeah,
yeah,
grumpy
hot guy.
McGrumpersons, but still hot.
Yeah,
And then the other murderer was Billy, who was
bitch,
was a girl and was immediately mean to everybody. And it turns out that Billy is in love with John, the serial killer,
of
and has been
course.
helping him murder
Yeah,
just to convince him that she's the one that he
That's
wants, that, like, all of these
exactly.
women he thinks is gonna be his happily ever after is not right. It's her all along. So she's
Yep,
playing out her own sort of romance storyline
yep,
that's not working out. And John, because of their great date, fixates on Jamie. And so Jamie is now both his leading lady
and
and possibly his final girl,
yep,
depending on
subsequent
how it
final
works.
girl,
But
yeah,
he's living a rom-com while he's murdering, for
yep.
sure.
Honestly, it's a good mystery.
It's a
It's
good
a good
mystery.
mystery in
And because there's 2 of them, sometimes John's there and a murder happens.
or he gets injured.
And so you're like, "Ooh, whatever." And Billy was such a bitch from the very beginning that I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, it's a red herring. It couldn't possibly
yeah,
be her."
same. And also Wes is gone and disappears just as much as, say, John does,
Yeah,
so
right.
it's
Because she's
very
constantly trying to stop people from going out by
yeah,
themselves. She's like, "It's a rule. Don't split
yep,
up. Don't say you're about to be
yep.
back. Like, don't do it." And then they do it anyway because they're trying to be heroes.
So speaking of which, can I give you my absolutely most favorite scene?
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna give one.
Okay.
It's the bathroom scene with Lori. So there is a situation where everyone like, honestly, it's just so realistic. We're all in this club, everyone's dying, and then 3 hours later, everyone's like, "Shit, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, I really have to pee." And so there's, like, 6 or so people that say, "Hey, you 2 go in the bathroom, we'll stand guard, and then we'll switch and whatever." And so when it was Jamie and Lori's turn to go to the bathroom, there's some people standing outside. I think they hear something, something is happening. Jamie and Lori notice that there's, like, a vent that is high up in the bathroom, but looks like something that Lori, who is, I guess, particularly small, could possibly fit through, and there is this, like, dialogue between Jamie and Lori. And it's almost like this could be the last time we ever talk to each other, and, oh my god, it's honestly heartbreaking, hilarious, and I'm scared at the same time that someone's gonna walk in and see this happening, and essentially Jamie gets Lori into that vent and is just like, "There obviously has to be a way out, so try to get in this vent and get help." And that's the last time we see Lori, and Hard Eyes comes into the bathroom, and she's hiding in one of the stalls and leaves a message on the
Mirror
mirror.
scratches it in.
Ah, creepy as hell.
Yeah. That
Ugh.
that was the scene when I was saying, I was like, "I think I'm being so brave. What's Katie talking about? It's not scary. Maybe I like horror movies." And then that happened, and I was like, "Terrifying. I don't wanna talk
Yeah.
about it." And that's one of the scenes that I was reading and not listening to, and I was, like, in my bed, and I'm like, "Nope, can't do it. I can't do it."
Yep.
My favorite scene, and I had a couple, but I'll only give one as well. It's for John, it's the grand gesture, and for
Yeah.
Jamie, it's the final stand,
Yeah.
right? So it's the climax of the book, and Hard Eyes, which we now know as John, has been leaving Jamie notes and, like,
Mhm.
flowers throughout the story because she is his leading lady, and there was a quote that I'm forgetting right now, but everybody it was maybe like, "You belong with me," or
Yeah,
something like
Taylor
that,
Swift
and
reference.
when they read it, all the girls were like, "Oh, Taylor Swift," but
Yeah.
really, for him, it was, like, some sort of other reference, and so now he knows that she likes Taylor Swift, so
Yeah.
as she's going down to meet him on the dance floor, the
Yep.
final stand, he starts playing Love Story
Yep.
by Taylor Swift, and she is her reaction is just like, "Ah, shit.
Yep.
I shouldn't have told him I like Taylor Swift." And then she has this quote, which is, I think, one of my favorite quotes I've read in a while. She's like, "It's a bit bold for him to assume I'm a fearless girl." When some questions about the topic would have revealed I'm a 1989 stan. But a classic's a classic. Yes. I'm like, there's never been a moment where all of my interests have come together in such a clear and hilarious way.
So that right there, I'm like, "We have to tell Brianna to read this." Like, that right there gives you everything you need to know about this book. Shit is about to go down. This man has killed tens of people, but also leaving Taylor Swift love notes, and this gal is like, I gotta be ready to either die or kill this guy. Yep. I'm taking one for the team."
Yeah.
And
And this is what she thinks. He
and this
starts
is what
playing
she
Taylor
thinks.
Swift, and it goes, bold of him
I
to
know,
think
and
I'm a
that's
fearless
real
girl.
because I bet if I heard that shit, I'd be like, "Huh, more of a 1989 gal myself,"
I mean
but
I mean, maybe blank space would have been
yeah,
something maybe I would have rethought of it if that's what you put on, but I mean, sure. Love Story's a gem. What what can we
okay.
say?
We're not gonna argue with that.
I cackled And like you said, it's a perfect example of why this book is so effective, I
Yeah.
think, and so enjoyable. Much like that Taylor Swift
Yeah.
like quote I just gave, what makes this so effective is the rom-com mashup of it all. And not only is it funny throughout, not only is
Yeah.
there, ill-advised, not sex, because you don't have sex in a slasher, but definitely almost sex scene
Yeah.
between her and Wes. But there is also just like this meta quality to it
Mm.
because she's an expert in both slashers and
Yeah.
rom-coms. Her commentary on what's happening keeps this from being bonkers. Because truly it's a bonkers concept, but because Jamie is keeping it grounded in these rules.
Yeah.
Like in the rules of whatever. So even when Hard Eyes kills somebody and then takes out their intestines to make a
Yeah.
heart on the dance floor, yeah, like love you forever. Uh, she's just like not great, but also I can see where he's coming from.
Like, I get it. So it's so unlike something I've read before.
I know. I want more mashups.
I know.
I think before we go to our ratings,
Yeah.
I want to play a quick game.
Okay.
And I guess it's less a game and more a provocative question.
Ooh, tell us.
Would you be a final girl?
You know, I like to think that I got my wits about me in these types of scenarios, and I've been in some dicey situations, and I feel like I've been able to work it out. But as I went through this book, I'm like, well, I don't know all the rules. I don't know the beats. I don't know what's supposed to come next because I'm so unfamiliar with this topic. So that's where I really struggle. If it's something that I think I would do my best.
I think for sure I would not be a final girl. If it was between you and I, you would be more likely to be a final girl.
I think I would shove you through the vent like Lori.
Yeah, you'd be like, "Get out of here, you're not gonna be helpful. Do what you can to find help."
Yeah.
You'd be
Yeah.
like, "I'm confident that once you're outside, you would be able to help us."
Yes.
But in this situation, I do think I would be useless. If I were to have survived, it would be because I found a really good hiding spot and never left,
I will say I was so surprised that there was a bunch of people that found a really good hiding
and
spot
just never left.
and never left, but sometimes I wonder if I would have been like that and would have been just smart enough to find a pretty good hiding spot and then just stay there the entire time.
I think because when I just read the rules, right? I think the hide longer than you
Yeah.
think you have to, I don't think I'd do that.
I
Like,
would. I
I think
would.
I'd find a hiding spot, and then I think I would try to run. I think I would try to run sooner than I should.
I don't think I would.
If I was alone, for sure I would leave. If I was with people, I would probably stay for
No,
the amount
that's
of
where
time.
I feel like you get, peer pressured into leaving or doing something. It's always the people that you surround yourself with
Maybe.
in these
Maybe.
scenarios.
But no, unfortunately, I don't think I'd be a f I would love it if I was confident enough to say, "Yes, I'd be able to figure it out, and I'd be the girl who would save the day." But I unfortunately don't think it's me.
I don't wanna say that I would save the day because that seems like
Too much pressure to put on
that's
yourself.
way too much pressure, and I do not like anyone to rely on me for anything.
Except for your cat.
Except for my beautiful baby. Sometimes I forget to feed her, though. So, like, I don't want people to be relying on me, but I do think that I am quick on my feet
Yeah.
thinking about things,
Think you would get away from the initial massacre for sure.
but who knows
Who's to
if
know
I
how
would.
long you would to last
Who's
outside of
to
that, though?
know? I mean, again, if this was like Exit and I remember, like, in my brain, here's where this door is, like, yeah, sure, I've got a one up on everybody that's there, but I think I would try my best. I would try my best.
But that's a good point too, is that of the just the daters, there was probably 20 of them. It sounded like at least 8 hid,
Yeah.
stay hid, and then made it out.
Yeah.
A couple people died in the initial massacre, and then there was 10 people who was sort of with Jamie and Lori. Lori got out, and then pretty much everybody
Everybody
in that
else.
group,
Yeah.
Billy included, because
Yeah,
Jamie
she got tossed over the
Jamie
side.
tossed her right over the side. But besides that, it was Jamie, it was Wes, and then it was John. And of that 10 people, Jamie and Wes made it.
Yeah.
So it was
I mean,
it was a it was a it was a massacre. It was a
yeah.
slasher film for sure, but there were people who survived.
There were people that survived that unfortunately missed, honestly, everything.
Yeah.
They missed everything in whatever room they were hiding in,
There's also a real
and
part of me going back, while I don't think I'd be the final girl, the reason why I don't think I would stay hidden is that it's not a FOMO is not the right word. That's not what I'm saying here. But there is an inaction of staying hidden that
yeah,
would
yeah.
make me think, what if we got saved and they just didn't find me yet? That's why I think if I was with somebody else, maybe it would be a little bit better. But would I be the one trying to peer pressure people to see what's happening?
Yeah, I
And I
think you
think I would
kinda
be.
would be.
That's why I
Yeah,
think I
and I'd be
wouldn't
like,
stay
"I wouldn't
hidden.
trust you." I'd be like, "Girl, you're on your
Yeah,
own."
I think I wouldn't stay hidden long enough because I'm like, but what if it's over? What if we're wrong? I think I would try
And
to.
I'd be like, "What does it matter? Go pee in the corner." Like, it's not like we're in a refrigerator, like, it's fine. You can live in this room.
I do think, yeah, unfortunately, I think I would get myself killed and others.
Yeah, I don't I would not trust you.
No, I
I
wouldn't
guess
trust me
that's
either.
no, I wouldn't trust
Yikes.
you.
That's wow. A
Yeah,
little therapy session here at the end of this
yeah,
horror rom-com
I
podcast.
would not trust you. Alrighty, Lise, give us your final rating.
I did 4.5. 4.5 stars. I was going
Okay.
back and forth for 5. And I think it was honestly just a little bit too scary for me. I think it was the only I know that was the point, but I got scared. I got scared.
Wow.
So I think for it to be like a perfect book, have to be I wouldn't have been as scared as I was, but I was scared. But 4.5, I think.
Wow.
What about you, Katie?
I mean, I would give this 5 stars, nearly 6, I
Oh,
would say.
so
This
it's one of your
was
faves.
one of my absolute favorite books. Like, right now, Daggermouth and this book are at the top of my list for this year. I thought this was so different, relatable, but not.
Yeah.
Like, it was something that I didn't know that I wanted to read.
Yeah. I will agree with that. Definitely something I do know I
Yeah.
want to read. It definitely took this like a zany concept, an absolutely zany concept, but it was grounded in such a way because Jamie and
Yeah.
Laurie, I think them together, even though we only saw Laurie for half the book, were the type of friends that we have.
Yeah.
Like the type of like ride or die girlfriends. While you guys
Yeah.
are looking for significant others,
Yep.
you're still your number ones.
Yep. When they, like, reunite at the end of the book, a tear fell. That was actually it was very emotional. It wasn't, like, funny, it was actually heartwarming.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought that was, yeah, really real.
Yeah, it was
And
very real.
even in the most ridiculous situations, it stayed funny and it stayed not as fantastical as what a slasher is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The slasher and a rom-com are these heightened stories, and both of those aspects were here, but it just kept it in like a very real place. So I do agree. And if it was a little bit less scary, I'd give it a 5, but it was a little too scary, so I'd give it
Wow.
a 4.
Okay.
It was my favorite book of the month, though. It's my favorite book I read in March, for
Hell
sure.
yeah. Elise, do you wanna tell us what we're reading next time?
Yes, so we are gonna read Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinniman. As you all know, and as I mentioned at the top of this podcast, he's one of my most favorite authors, and
Yeah.
found them recently. So Operation Bounce House is his newest book, and it's outside of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. So I figured since, honestly, the Dungeon Crawler Carl series is too deep to get Katie to get
Yeah.
into it now, I'd say let's read his newest book for the pod.
Yep.
That's what we're gonna read, and I'm excited for it. I was gonna read it anyway
Yep.
because
Yeah,
I
I
love the
know it.
man, but
You love this
I'm
man.
happy to read it together.
Fabulous. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, no genre shaming unless it's funny.
Bye.
Bye.